So what I was going to share with you today is a brief case study on an organization that we had just worked with. It's called ISGAP, and it's a policy and research institute. They study anti-Semitism. So there are scholars all around the world who study sources of anti-Semitism. And the reason that they do that is really to counter the pervasiveness of anti-Semitism in the world. And there's a lot of organizations that are trying to fight this, and they have a slightly different approach. They've found that the anti-Semitic narratives have really emanated out of university campuses based on a select number of professors who have written about the topic from a very pro-Palestinian, anti-Zionistic perspective, and those narratives have taken root over time and have now become really pervasive on college campuses. And so they're empowering scholars around the world to tackle this issue. And so when they came to us, they really didn't have a strong brand, a strong voice. As you see, they're using an acronym. Unfortunately, we couldn't change the acronym. It stands for the Institute Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. But they need to tell a better story. That's kind of their problems. They need to tell a better story so they could raise more money and engage more people. And so we took them through a strategic process to understand what they were all about, understand the unique differentiation of working specifically within the realm of academia. And it resulted in an assessment of their brand from the parent logo. There was a lot of confusion. They were using the full name, not using the full name in many cases. They had some sub-brands that were either related but misnamed. The Digital Research Center is really a online learning center. Flashpoint is not really clear what that is. It's really a blog. And so these are some of and the newsletter wasn't really branded. Sometimes didn't even have their name on it. And so we took them through a strategic process to understand what they were all about and come up with a new narrative for them and a new identity for them. We really found that the real insight was that they were around this idea of academia, and we generated lots of ideas, and the one that really hit the mark for them was academia answering anti-Semitism. And so we created a logo that supported that by giving some distinction to the A with the triple A to reinforce the acronym, the tagline. And in cases where they need the full name, we have versions of the logo with the full name. So we created a whole new identity for them that helps them to tell their story in a better way. We created a system of sub-brands to name the newsletter and that online learning center, which is now called ISGAP Ed, and the Flashpoint, we call it Insights. And so there's a consistency across all of their different forms of communication, their newsletter, their website, their blog, and so forth. And then to roll that out through their stationery and other materials. And introduce some other brand elements like patterns and stripes and things that would help to reinforce the brand and bring some liveliness to what's a very staid look right now. And we also, I'm going to stop sharing and then reshare another screen. As part of the assignment, we've also developed a presentation to donors. I'm not going to go through the whole presentation, but it's a way of them quickly kind of explaining the message and gaining the interest of donors to kind of understand the pervasiveness of the issue and how they're differentiated from the other organizations, which we thought was crucial. We created this kind of grid that showed that they're the only ones occupying global reach and empowering academia. And other ways of telling their story through and global reach. So I know I have limited time, and so hopefully this is just rolled out. We're still in the process of implementing this, but they're really excited about having a new way to talk about what they are. Even this idea of the research center, now kind of branding them in a way that gives more stature to what they do and helps other constituents to understand what they do.
You do have another 10 minutes if you want to take Q&A or you want to spend more time presenting, either way.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So Howard, it's very interesting and obviously very timely. So can you talk a little bit more about the front end? How did they realize that they had a problem? And then how did you guys get involved? I mean, were you part of that process, or did they say, you know, hey, we have a problem, let's call Howard and get his help?
Yeah, they realized they had a problem. So the founder, this guy Charles Asher Small, is a scholar, and he's really a world leader in anti-Semitism. He's working out of Oxford. He's put together a coalition, if you call it, a network of about 60 plus scholars. They're fellows that are around in institutions around the world. He runs a prestigious summer institute at Oxford where they train scholars. He's really, and he cranks out research papers. His big claim to fame is called "Follow the Money," which he tracks. He traced the funding of of certain Middle Eastern studies departments in U.S. colleges to Arab countries and some not very savory sources. And he's got some good publicity around that. He's doing a great job, but doing the research, but not running in the organization in terms of building its clout and so forth. And so his board said, you know, we really need some help. And so for the previous 6 months, they were engaging in a strategic process to uncover insight, to revitalize the board. They brought in Natan Sharansky, a world activist, you know, as a board. Yeah, they have some heavy hitters on this, but they're small. There's like $500,000 annual revenue. They gain no traction. There's like one other staff person there part-time. I mean, it's not. So the board recognized there's a need. They started doing things at the infrastructure level, and they recognized, like, we got a marketing communication problem. We don't know how to tell our story, you know, and specifically we need to raise some money here. So we need a donor presentation. And so that's kind of how this all came about.
And how did you enter the picture?
Well, we got a call from one of an advisor to the group who was another advisor to 2 other projects that we're working on. So we had this a reputation, and we were brought in by another, you know, and he's a large Jewish leader, and so he's consulting with other groups. So he's consulting with them, and he brought us in. Okay,
very interesting project.
So Howard, where do you take it from here? How do you tell the story across multiple channels?
Well, we're hoping to work with them on their website. We proposed, you know, a complete revamping of their website from just, you know, kind of a repository for the research to a more collaborative tool where we can, you know, actually engage, you know, people in interaction and things like that. And so I know we're in discussions on, you know, additional phases.
Yeah, I know you've talked about donors as being one of the high impact areas. Did you actually put together, you know, kind of a roadmap of where the highest impact, lowest effort is in telling the story and where you go from here?
You're saying on the fundraising side in particular?
Well, I know you've identified fundraising as one channel that has a huge impact.
Right.
I'm just curious across the board if you're able to prioritize at this point where else to tell the story and how to make those decisions downstream.
Well, their biggest priority right now is raising money. So that's the highest in their mind. The second tier would be engagement. So getting people to participate in programs, particularly that Summer Institute program, and driving attendance there. They have a civil servants program, and they have other programs. So they use the email a lot to reach their current constituents and others. And so they're hoping to drive, you know, we revamped their newsletter and their communications. And so there's certainly more work to be done, but those are some of the things, right? Driving donations, driving engagement, building cloud. You know, I guess the next things would be building influence once they, I don't know, there are some other things. They got some additional money to do the follow the money, you know, kind of a second phase on that. And so they'll want to use that as a leverage point for PR, because they did get some PR off of that, and he speaks at you know, to government agencies and so forth. So he's sharing the research at a national and international level.
Keith Reynolds looks like he has his hand up, unless that's, is that what you're,
That's what I did.
all right. You have a
The
question?
technology works. Yeah, I was curious. You mentioned differentiation and you showed the competitive matrix. And I just wondered how you did your competitive research, how in depth was it, and the kinds of things that you found that got you to that chart.
It wasn't all that in depth. This is for us, this is a more limited engagement than we would typically do, but there was clearly, I think, two sets. The chart showed 3 quadrants, but really there were kind of like 2 sets of groups. One that work with students on campus directly or somewhat indirectly funding those organizations. And the other were ones that were conducting research, you know, or working with scholars or academia, you know, in some way. And so, you know, we looked at them on, you know, we reviewed them online, and we talked to the client about their mostly the ones that we're working with the colleges. We're able to get a good sense of from, you know, their online presence, you know, and GuideStar and 990s and other kinds of things like that. And from the research side, Charles, you know, the director was able to give some light on the relative influence and impact that those other academia focused organizations were having.
Were they all really serious competitors? I mean, I recognize some of the names of the organizations that because that thing was up there so fast. I didn't get a chance to really record it to my brain that fast. But this organization seems quite different than, say, what did I see up there? I saw did I see APAC up there? I mean, those sorts of things. Just this seems unique. Yes.
Well, this is the Anti-Defamation League, which I guess is the biggest.
Yeah, it's the ADL and APAC. Yeah, it is very different than those other organizations. And it's not to disparage those in any way. They do great work.
No,
ADL,
absolutely not.
Of that. But yeah, they're working more on the kind of consumer side and the public facing side, whereas ISGAP is working really with scholars, you know, in the university world. So they're doing the research that might be used maybe by, you know, some of these other organizations, as opposed to out on the front lines and claiming all of the, you know, the headlines.
Is the goal to impact the anti-Semitism on so many campuses?
It is. It's really to have a long-term change in the trajectory. Edward Said and Noam Chomsky, and, you know, there's some kind of names of scholars out there that have just been real, I mean, I don't know, anti-Semitic, you know, calling Israel, I mean, this idea of apartheid and colonial, and I don't want to get into the politics of all this, but, you know, they're kind of, you know, deep-seated ideas that have emanated, you know, from scholars on campuses and have infiltrated, you know, and indoctrinated, you know, that sector. And so they're thinking, you know, the long term, you know, you could educate college, you know, students to speak out, but then they're off the campus in a couple of years. And so to really attack the problem at a root cause, if you will, it would be to try to actually displace those narratives with some other positive narrative. And so by having studies on anti-Semitism the same way you would on gender studies, or, you know, Black history studies or things like that, and you say, look, this is something that's worthy of study, not just for Jews, but for humanity. What does it say about ourselves that we have hatred, you know, and intolerance? Where's the limits of free speech? What does it mean to, you know, what is colonialism, and to be a country, you know, and not criticize other countries for more egregious behaviors, or, you know, so to explore all the, I don't know, the rise of propaganda and how that led to Holocaust and other things like that. And, you know, as a society, how are we enriched by our understanding of how hate infiltrates us and where the boundaries are and things like that. So they'd see that as a long-term.
What was there a logo before?
I want to switch it up.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
We're coming. Yeah, we've gone the 15 minutes. But Howard, I'll give you, if you want, 2 minutes to just, you know, do a general introduction, since not everybody on the call knows you and what you do.
So yeah, and quickly, the logo, they didn't have a formal logo. They had just those letters, ISCAP, so they didn't have a visual symbol there. And they were not willing to change their name, which would have been another good option potentially to a shorter, pithier thing. So my company, Red Rooster Group, our slogan is "Wake Up Your Brand." We focus on the nonprofit sector. And so we help organizations that have reached some type of status quo or want to achieve more in terms of their brand, their marketing, and their fundraising, essentially. So for their brand, we'll come in and do assessments and revitalize them like this. We'll do renaming, rebranding, messaging, positioning, that kind of strategy. Marketing, anything to engage audiences and participation. So campaigns and websites and so forth. And then for fundraising, it's a variety of different fundraising strategies to raise revenue.
Very good.
Redroostergroup.com is our website.
Yep. And clearly you can find him on the trustref.net website as well. Okay. So let's do 2 minutes each. I will put in the chat the order in which, well, an order. I'm not sure if it's exactly the order in which it's shown up. So it would be Victor, then Andrew, then Jeff. And I will time 2 minutes. And if the topic of discussion, if you want to, bring something up in the outside of just introducing yourself, the topic is, how has technology changed things in your slice of the market? Whether it's NFTs or cookie, changes to cookie policies or whatever. Let us know how things are changing. So, Victor, you are up.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. Nice to see a bunch of familiar faces. Hi, Stacey. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to see you.
Sorry. I just want to take a quick slice. So Howard, there was an article a friend of mine sent me today. I forget where it's from, but the theme was "Don't hire anybody from Harvard," and which I took as I told my friend, like, what is this, a personal insult? But anyway, if I can find that article, I will send it to you. Because it seems to kind of fit into the theme about academia and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I think I know most of the people here. So anyway, my name is Victor Lee, and basically I make a business out of connecting people. I leverage my network to find interesting opportunities, and often try to find both sides of the coin, both sides of a transaction through my network. Rajiv, is it okay if I use you as an example? Okay, right, thanks. So for example, Rajiv introduced me to a guy who has a fantasy sports platform, a proprietary fantasy sports platform. Because Rajiv is I consider Rajiv to be a super connector as well. And so so he introduced me to this guy, great guy, but I have no interest in the topic, sports or fantasy sports. But I introduced them to another friend of mine who used to be in the ad business, and I know does a lot in sports. They're based out of London. They do things with I guess every country has its own fighting sport. Thailand has Muay Thai, and Brazil has Capoeira, and all this kind of stuff. So they are interested in doing a deal. They're going to put some of their clients together. So to me, this is the classic opportunity I'm looking for, which is it's 2 steps in one direction. Rajiv introduced me to somebody, and then it was 2 steps in the other direction, where my friend who's going to get his clients involved. And I've also dragged Michael into this particular project as well. So it's really just about finding out who knows whom and putting people together and seeing if we can't make a deal, and we'll all make a little bit of money, or hopefully a lot of money. So Victor Lee, and happy to have happy to have conversations with anybody here, whether we've spoken before or not. And that's what I'm about.
And Victor is doing the showcase next week,
Yes.
not this week. Okay. And on that topic of connecting, what's the topic exactly?
Yeah, I'll have to change it in the thing. So I've developed a methodology for networking. It's a little bit unorthodox. So I figured I've used it on a couple of groups that I know well, and I'll test it out on this group because it'll be harder for you to all throw tomatoes at me over Zoom.
Yes. Although we could probably come up with some sort of virtual tomato. Okay.
Right.
Andrew Deutsch, you're up. You're probably on mute. I muted everybody because I have it on, it triggers, the main screen is triggered by voice. So Andrew, are you still around?
I don't see him.
Oh, he must have fallen off. All right. Okay, so we'll come back to Andrew. Jeff Linder.
Hi, everyone. No one knows me. I don't know you, but it's good to make your acquaintance. I founded Fresh Branding Group, which is an advertising agency, in 2007. A little hard for me sometimes to believe that we existed this long. We tend to be in a whole bunch of different industries. My background is big agencies in New York. Unless you know the agencies, it's better for me to just say that I've worked on everything from A to Z, from Audi and American Express to Xerox. Sorry, I don't really have a Z former client or current client, so that'll have to do. And Fresh Branding Group, we don't have those big clients, though that would be nice, but we do quite a bit of television. I'm working on a website at the moment for a new startup pharmaceutical company. We do a lot of stuff. So try to stop it there. I think everyone gets the idea.
And you just won a big television series, television
We
program.
did. Oh,
yeah.
You're a sweetheart for reminding me, Michael. Yes, we just won 11. Yes, 11 Telly Awards. Thank you so much for reminding me. I really should learn how to toot my own horn much better and more.
And did you also win a big project, which is multiple commercials, or is that, am I confusing?
No,
something?
the 9 commercial project that we finished it and it's done. That was from one client who loves us. They actually retained us after they were acquired by a PE firm. And in case anyone here knows, when your client is acquired, you're usually a goner, and it goes under the heading of no good deed goes unpunished. But in this particular case, they realized, oh, these guys are good. They're kind of the reason why we're acquiring this company, because the sales are going crazy. So.
And what was the category of the 9 commercials?
OTC Pharma. It was a smallish OTC Pharma company in New Jersey. I pitched them in 2015. Just very quickly, the managing director had hired a consultant, and every time the folks at this company did something that I didn't agree with, I would call the consultant and I would complain, and the consultants would go, oh my God, these crazy people, I'll take care of it. And he took care of it. He would call the managing director. And so one day I'm in the conference room with the managing director. His name was Jeff also. And this guy, Bob, who was the consultant. And the MD, Jeff, said to both of us, Bob, why am I still paying you? You and Jeff just working together on everything. You both agree on everything. Why don't you two just team up? So Bob and I have teamed up, and we tend on the OTC and pharma business. He's my partner. I do a bunch of other stuff in other industries, beverages, food and beverage. I concentrate there a little bit. So,
all right, great.
But I do a bunch of other stuff.
You should make sure. I don't know if you have those industries on your listing. I'm not sure you do.
If I don't, I'll go and I'll check and I'll put them.
Absolutely. And you should meet. There's a couple other people that specialize in pharma in the group.
Great.
All right, wonderful. And I finally hit return on that chat. So that was Jeff, Scott, then Stacey, then David Cutler. Scott, you're up. You're on mute. Scott
Yeah,
Lang.
thanks a lot. Well, I guess Victor actually did my presentation. For those of you that have not already met me, I focus on partnerships and alliances, but basically it's as much dot connecting as I can, where I take a piece of paper from one side of my desk and connect it with relationships on the other side of my desk. This has been a very, very effective and helpful relation network, the Trusted Referral Network. And I'm already engaged with a number of you on different things. And for those of you, again, that have not met me, I made a presentation a few weeks ago. I do have a few clients on retainer, and I'm working principally, I guess about half my time on an initiative called Black Entrepreneur Initiative, which is a learning community to help aspiring and current entrepreneurs with information, knowledge, tools, and support on a SaaS platform and an online community, on group coaching and a number of other elements of the program that help people succeed in this environment where many people have been put out of work and now they find themselves entrepreneurs. So if you take a woman in Chicago who might have been working in the corporate office of McDonald's, she might now be working in the hairstyling business, which is very big for the Black community. So how do I do that? How do I run that business? So these are small businesses. We're not working as far as our entrepreneurs. Now, we are working with some blue chip corporations on supplier diversity, corporate social responsibility initiatives, et cetera. And our funding primarily comes from philanthropies, foundations, corporations, corporate social responsibility budgets, et cetera. The rest of my work is just some different clients: Germ Barriers, Rex.com, a sunglass company. I'm working now with an international situation where I'll be the U.S. liaison for a company that wants to export foods from Italy. That might interest you, Jeff. I've spoken to some other people in the TRN about it. And that's basically the circumstance when you get to be an old ad guy, Jeff. I precede you.
Thank you, Scott. Next, Stacey, you are up.
Hey. Hi, thank you for having me. I hope I become a full member. My name is Stacey Mathes, and I own a website called Legal Copywriting Central. That's not the name of my company, but that is the name of my website, and I do my business under that website. We write marketing copy for lawyers, and I'll sum up how I help and who I help in a 2-minute case study. So a friend of mine and colleague of many years, Jean Tang, some of you may know her, referred me to one of the top West Coast law firms, personal injury law firms. And so, and I'm reading because I don't want to forget to tell you anything. So they wanted me to create the copy for a massive website. And they're known for high profile med mal cases, sexual abuse cases, and they wanted the website to reflect that they also do everyday cases like dog bites and motorcycle accident cases and stuff like that. So for a month, my team and I, we immersed ourselves in the California and Santa Clarita subculture to get a handle on the collective mindset, because it was totally foreign to us. None of us knew anything about California. So we did this for a month, and we studied their attorneys, we studied their firm history, we studied their competitors, their main competitors. And finally we turned over the website, and I loved it. What we had to do, we revamped their core message. Their entire brand messaging, the voice, the tone, the style, the framework, all of it, so that it would align with what our findings told us who they, authentically are, because they were basically doing what lawyers tend to do, which was sound like everybody else. And thank you. So, they were happy with the site, and they were so thrilled that they hired us again to do a 6-panel brochure. And then we did that, and they loved that, and they hired us again, and we did a press release for a major class action suit, and then a 19-page panel marketing handout for them. And so we basically we were able to do everything that they asked us to do until the only request that we weren't able to, that we had to decline, was when they asked us to take the framework that we did and take the voice that we uncovered for them and do it in Spanish. I said, no, well, that we can't do, but we found someone who could. And so, that was that. But, and we're still doing work with them. So that's it. Stacey, Legal Copywriting Central. Thank you.
Great story.
Thanks.
David Cutler, then Rajiv, then Faith. David, are you still with us? David looks like he may have dropped out. Okay. So let's, Rajiv. Rajiv, are you still there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, you might have heard this song play on the radio, right? Haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Shake it off, shake it off. Well, what the song doesn't tell you is that when haters hate, unfortunately, they don't keep it to themselves. They go online and they blab all that garbage and lies and slander everyone, which, if left unresolved, can damage and hurt your business because it sows seed of discord and doubt in the hearts and minds of your existing customers and future customers. So what do? We delete all that junk from Google. Yes, you heard me. Delete. Almost similar to pressing the delete key on your keyboard. We delete bad press from Google, and we delete bad reviews from Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Why do we do this? Because we are here to help people that have been maligned and treated unfairly by bad actors online. And just to clarify, we are not here to let bad actors get away with it. I just want to be very clear about that. We offer a performance guarantee, which means that if we cannot deliver the result in the forecasted timeframe, the client gets a full refund, no questions asked. So it makes it completely risk-free. My ask is for introduction to other marketing people. That's why I'm here, who typically white label us for our reputation repair services for their clients. And it's a win-win. Everyone gets their beak wet, so to speak, and it's a great option. R Square Media, be seen or not be seen. And thank you so much for your attention. And I hope my little dramatization brought a smile to your life.
We love your singing. Peter's gonna hate, 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 hate. Rajiv, wonderful. Also, after Rajiv is Faith, then Brian Rudolph, then Keith. Faith, you're up. You're on mute, Faith. Faith, you're on mute. There you go.
Okay.
Go for it.
Hi, to those of you I haven't met yet, I'm Faith Thomases, and what I do is help people articulate as succinctly as possible what they want to say, and that involves helping companies with their positioning, who they want to be, what their messaging is, helping with name development and copywriting, and also any kind of strategy and thinking that needs to go in to a marketing problem. And also I get involved with interviewing clients to get them to articulate what their problem is or to help find out what's going on. So my business is called Thomases and Company, and I work directly with clients, but also in consultation with other firms, advertising agencies, design agencies, consulting firms, and I'm very flexible. I can be shown as part of your team or not, depending what the situation is. I'm a generalist with experience in a broad range of industries. I've done racetrack betting and consumer packaged goods, financial services, and I'm happy to talk to anybody about what they might need or how I can help or how I can network. I know a lot of people, and I guess what I've done before is leave you something to keep in my mind. Is in New York, I came up with the name for the Icon parking lot. So if you want to remember me, it's the Icon parking lot lady.
Wonderful. And yes, I just referred you, I think, for somebody who was looking for copywriting in the not-for-profit space. So
Oh, great,
I don't know if they reached out to you.
Not yet.
Okay, that's Faith. Brian, then Keith, then Gary.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Brian Rudolph. I'm a digital marketing consultant. I work with companies of all size, focused on digital marketing and digital transformation initiatives. So my background, I've come out of big brands like Coca-Cola, AT&T, where I've led digital marketing on the B2B side, led global digital for Verifone, and then went agency and consulting side, where I led a multitude of initiatives, building out digital marketing strategy, and digital transformation initiatives. So I am looking for, of course, companies that are small to mid-size, looking to build their digital marketing foundations in a way that is led by strategy, or if you know of a digital transformation initiative, my enterprise clients are typically more project specific. For example, I just led launching digital subscriptions at the newspaper here in Atlanta. So one other referral that I'm looking for are introductions into agencies and introductions to other consultants. I find that I sit between the traditional brand agency and the development agency, the person doing the execution. And there's very often a specific need to build out digital strategy and digital roadmaps to take a brand from their branding and positioning into the actual execution of website, social, search, and everything else. So that's my time, and I'll looking forward to meeting everybody if I haven't met you already.
Brian, I ought to introduce you to Bryce Wade, where we could talk about from Mind of a Marketer.
Yeah, I'd love that introduction. Thank you.
Okay.
You put your info in the chat.
I absolutely will, Howard. I was definitely going to reach out to you as well.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Keith Reynolds, then Gary. Keith, you got to unmute.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Keith Reynolds. It's been a heck of a few months. I've been buried in some customer things, and that's a good thing. But now I'm starting to pull my head up and start to scan the environment again. I have a company called Publio. We are a content strategy company. We do research and development. We're a consulting, training, and development and media company. I've been building large magazines, if you will, or digital properties for brands. And I, about 2 years ago, wrote a book called The New Content Culture. Whoa, you can't see it. Then there you go, The New Content Culture. And I have a new book on my website. We're toying around with distributing for free and using it as a marketing and education piece as well. So you can go to Publio and from the section called The Hub, download a free book on using content to drive your business. And what I love about content is it's out there on the internet. And if you get your content right, you also have to get your operations right. And I've been working that equation for many years. So I like the idea of storytelling, that people told stories. I have a proposal out to a large alumni association of a major corporation. They all, about 27,000 people who used to work for this company, all are looking to have a platform for them to publish their materials. We've come up with a content strategy for them, and now we're looking to run their website as a service bureau. I have a franchise that I work with where we've challenged the franchisor to what we need to do in the local market, and we're helping them re-engineer the brand that was done at a national level for a local market. And that's been a very interesting project, and that's going to lead to a book for the client. And again, like the one on my website, one that their customers can download and start the engagement. So I see I'm getting my time, but it's really about putting the system behind the content. Thanks.
Thank you. And I think that blurriness had something to do with the blurry background.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't a face.
It wasn't a fake, yeah. So Gary and then Mark Tebow just joined. So Gary Hayden, you're up.
Yes, thanks. Great to see a lot of new faces and some old ones that I've met. So great to see everyone. I think, Mike, you asked the question at the beginning, what's changing out there with technology? So we do enterprise SEO for some of the largest companies in the world, and we do it with AI. But I think as we look at kind of the change of technology, the way that we like to approach it is really giving these large groups the strategy to win on the web. There are definite tools, tactics, and methodologies where you can analyze your competitors that you're trying to compete against, see and understand exactly what they're doing out there on the web, what they're ranking for, where content's being driven, or a market segment or an audience that you want to go after. And then, like a lot of the, people that I mentioned before, put these digital strategies in place to then execute and help your company kind of win on the web. And our focus is 100% around the SEO standpoint. So we do optimizations with our foundation team, obviously that strategy component to build their brand's authority on the web, and then data-driven content. So I know a lot of people talked about storytelling and content writing. We infuse that with kind of data-driven insights. So what are Google's bots and crawlers going to want to see along with that branding and content? And we provide that by itself. We do it soup to nuts. So we're there to work with a lot of people that have mentioned they do content on the call as well. We also built an artificial intelligence that understands what Google wants to see, and it runs your scoring and methodology of how your content will rank before you publish. And then it gives you insights to improve that content to make sure you're reaching your audience. So that might be something valuable as well. But yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody. I'll put my information in there, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday.
Yeah, and you should, I think, connect particularly with Brian because of his experience with large companies, Coca-Cola being one of them.
Definitely.
Okay, Mark Tebow, you're up. Mark, you have to go off mute. Mark, can you hear me? He's there, I see him. Mark, you there? Being shy. All right. Mark, you still there? Maybe he left. All right. So, and David Cutler and Andrew Deutsch no longer on the call. Okay, then I will go. And if anybody shows back up, that'll be great. So my name is Michael Bendit. My company is Software Development Resources, as the name implies. I represent teams that do software development, and that is sometimes lost on people because almost everything today is either web or mobile. So software is sort of the bigger umbrella of all of that. We do a lot of websites, e-commerce sites, mobile applications. That's really the bread and butter of what we do. But we also do, we work with startups to build their first product, oftentimes a web or mobile application. And what makes me unique is that I don't do any programming. I represent teams that do programming. So I help you and your clients find the right team for what you're looking to do. And that match has a number of dimensions associated with it. Things like, your budget, the platform you might be working on, otherwise the technologies, whether it's programming languages you might be using, because oftentimes you're not starting from scratch. You already have something, you have a base that you want to build on or expand. We're often taking over from an existing team or a prior team that just wasn't working out, or we're supplementing an existing team. And that often comes to bear working with digital marketing agencies. So we do a lot of partnering with digital marketing agencies that, even though they've got programmers in-house, they may not have enough bandwidth or maybe not the specific expertise that's needed for a given project. Just got a call from, and we're very flexible. I just spoke with one of my team, heads of one of my team. We started a project. And we were going to do the design, and then the client said, you know what, I have a designer I want to bring on. So we cut back a portion of the price that was associated with design, and now they're doing the design. And that same team is also now building a WordPress plugin for another client who is an agency and sees this gap in the market for building a WordPress plugin. So great leads for me are digital marketing agencies and also startups. And it looks like Mark Thibault is back. Looks like you might, can you hear us, Mark? He's not nodding. Mark, you there?
I'm here.
All right, do you want to go? You're the last person. Looks like his.
I don't have the best connection, I have a feeling, but yep, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You probably
Yeah.
can't hear me.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no. So
You're
anyway, sorry I'm late. Yeah, sorry I'm late. I had a student call, so that took precedence. But anyway, I'm Mark Thibault, Growth Strategy Advisors, and do a lot of market due diligence and kind of analysis and market discovery and interviewing. And in fact, I'm going to be doing a fair amount of interviewing for a while right now, apparently. So in any event, that's what I do, and I don't want to tie up the bandwidth so much. So thank you.
Sure. I could tell you that Mark and I are working on a project together that I happen to sell. And Mark is taking the lead on most of the research. So happy to have him. And you know, that's what this. It happens to be in an area in the plumbing industry, and Mark has an experience working for Lowe's, specifically in the HVAC and plumbing area. So a great fit. And I think Mark's bio helped us win the project. Wonderful. So there's only 4 minutes left. I think I got everybody right. Okay. If anybody wants to, I'm going to share my screen. If anybody is interested in doing a showcase, you can see we do have availability starting on July 7th. And then skipping the 13th and then starting again on the 21st. It's very similar to what Howard did. Howard did it sort of last minute, but he always has things in his pocket, which I'm grateful for. But it's 15 minutes, and usually it's 10 minutes of presentation and 5 minutes of Q&A. A good thing to do right now, if you haven't done it already, is to put your LinkedIn information in the chat. Your LinkedIn URL so other people can download it. Of course, you can always find other members on trustref.net by their company name, and soon I will be upgrading, in the process of upgrading the website, so you'll be able to search on the person's name as well, and there'll be more coming in terms of functionality on that website, including member-to-member chat. So I'm hoping to make it more of a hub for everyone. Lastly, if you know some folks that might be interested in being a part of this network, we're looking for others who are independent sales, marketing, or advertising professionals, usually a solopreneur all the way up to agencies of, let's say, 20 people. They are usually the principal owner or responsible for business development. And just send them my way. Also, there is a link. You could just have them come to a meeting as a guest. We'd love to have them. There is a link that I send out in the newsletter, which says that you could share with friends. There's also it's $15 if they don't have the discount code, but I've given the discount code to everyone here. It's free-TRN-pass. I think that's what it is. If there's a problem with that, you can get back to me, and they can just sign up and come on as a guest to get a sense for what our meetings are like. And of course, if you send them to the website, they'll get a sense for how the whole program works. Actually, let me just also show you on the website where you can send people to go. Share screen. So on the website, halfway down, right in this blue, try us out, come to a meeting, hit register here. This is where a guest can register. And as you can see, the upcoming meetings, including the next one, which is on June 15th at 11 a.m. Great. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Have a great rest of the day. And thank you, Howard. I know I see he's on the phone, but thank you again for presenting.
Thank you, Michael. You're really good at this. Keep doing it.
I'm working on it. Practice makes perfect. Take care.
Bye.